hello Europe, or at least what stayed here from all of the countries that were in this huge room before. It is a huge honor to be standing right here in front of you and to talk about our work. Why? Because I really respect youth workers, you standing shoulder to shoulder and doing the right thing. And I would like to remember you that whatever the circumstances, no one can ever take that from you, that you are doing the right thing. Why am I honored? I'm honored not only because I'm here to present my friends, my colleagues, and all of the young people I've met on this journey. I'm also honored because 10 years ago I would have never imagined myself to be standing here talking to you all. And actually I owe it all to youth work. Maybe you ask yourself why, maybe not, but I will answer. I'm here to present one phenomenal project in which I have been involved as a high school student. This project, but we rather call it a movement, changed my life. Changed my life and actually lives of many, many others. I owe it to it so much that now, 8 years later, I still think that I haven't given it back for everything I got from it. But before I start with presenting the Young Men Initiative project, I would like to shortly present my organization, which is in a way also a baby of this project because it came during this implementation. So, I'm not sure which one, probably. Yeah. Okay. So, my organization is called Youth Organization Status M. Maybe again ask why this M, but in Croatian we say for youth or young people, mladi, so this is the M, but it also comes convenient when you find out which is our target group, so men or young men. We were formed in 2010, so as an organization we are quite young. But actually, the people who are the heart of the organization have been working together since 2006, 2007, when this Young Men Initiative project has been launched. Since our beginnings, we have been gathering more or less youth workers from all of the professional fields, so medicine, psychology, social work, etc. And have been also let's say, producing new youth workers through our educators' trainings. On local and on regional level, we are recognized as an organization working with young men, but actually we have been working with a lot of young men directly. This number comes in these 5 years somewhere close to 10,000. But if you don't know us on local or regional level, maybe you know us on the European and global level. We are also working in Men Engage Network and Men Care campaign. If you haven't, then check those campaigns out because they're really great. On this occasion, I would like to say hi to all of the people here who already know of our work, and Budi Muško, and among you here, there are also some friends and colleagues from the region who have been working with us on this project, so hi. And also I would like to say huge thanks to John Kronover, a person you don't know, but he is actually a guy whose idea was actually made into this project later. Before I can present the project to you, I need to inform you about the issue Young Men Initiative has been tackling, and that is the issue of violence. But to demonstrate how big of an issue violence is, I will need your help. So I would please kindly ask you, so all of you that are sitting now, to stand up. Sorry, thank you. Sorry. So, I have a question for you, and you will answer by sitting down or still standing up. So, any of you who likes to be a victim of violence, so any of you who don't like to be a victim of violence, please sit down. Sorry for taking you up and down. But what I wanted to show is what all of us have in common. We don't like being victims of violence, but still we are using it daily. In many occasions we are trying to justify it, say that there is some reason, high reason for it, and so on. But we asked ourselves, why is it so? And man was something like an answer which was echoing in our minds. And when I would ask you or tell you some words, probably men would again pop up into your mind when I say power, abuse, wars, or something like that. So many years, those who use the violence the most were telling that that's just the way men are. That's the part of the biology, but thanks to science and researchers, we proved it wrong, and within recent decades, we came up to this term called gender. So, what is gender? To put it simply, the way we could complicate it, there are two sexes. There are men and there are women. But also, we have our biological differences, but in a way we have a lot of other differences, which, when you look at it, changes through societies, changes to different ages of human race, and by that we can conclude that sex is something that can't be changed, but in another way, gender is something that has changed already, is changing now, and will be changing in the future. Why is it so that violence has stuck with the human race for so long? Well, the answer is because those who are in power have a lot of use of this tool. And if you agree, in today's world, those with most power are men. And to give up from something so many have use of becomes really hard, unless you know what we will be getting if we get rid of this tool, violence, for getting to means end or whatever. So until recent years, violence has mostly been women's issue. There were different kinds of work involving victims of violence, involving women empowerment. But where did that get us today is actually that also we see more and more women using this physical violence. Why? Because we encourage them to be equal as men. But we forgot to include this one group where, if you look at it, actually is the main cause of this problem. I would like to show you and see how men suffer also from these gender roles. We didn't choose, but we were raised into them, and we were told about them from generation to the generation, not questioning them, but just taking them as ours. So I will ask you a series of questions which you can answer quietly in your minds, and later we'll see what's in common. So, who has a shorter lifespan? Who is more likely to die from homicide, to die in a road accident, to die from suicide? Who is more likely to consume alcohol and get drunk more? Who is more likely to die from an overdose? Who is more likely to have more sexually transmitted infections? And who is less likely to seek health services? Your free will gives you the right to continue believing that is biology. But what I would also like you to ask, why the answer to all of these questions is men. I can also later show you the researchers that support these questions. But I would also like to talk about expressing our emotions as men, which are part of the human race, but we are stripped down from it. and many similar situations to this one, which I will describe, that I cannot hug my friend, my male friend, because of someone possibly calling me names, sometimes wrapped in humor and stuff, but sometimes openly being homophobic. So we asked ourselves, if we change gender rules, do we also change the violence which is related to gender? We cannot know for sure, but what we know is that did we have violence thousands of years ago? Yes. Were there men involved into stopping it? God, no. Did we have violence 500 years ago? Yes. Were men involved then? No. Do we have violence still today in our societies? Yes. Well, why don't we include men? Since our work is dedicated to using evidence-based approach, we wanted to see for ourselves, is there a connection with masculinity and violence? You probably all know that around 2 decades ago, my country, Croatia, and my neighboring countries suffered a war, which shows its scars today still. We can see them especially on our young men, but sure, it has the same doings in the wars that already happened before or are happening even today. So we have made a research in bigger cities of our region, in Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro. The method we used, forget. Okay. The method we used is called Participatory Learning in Action, so the PLA, where we gathered groups of young high school men and give them the space to openly talk about being a young man. We proved that what we wanted, and that is that violence is connected to masculinity, but we discovered something really interesting on what YMI, Young Man Initiative Program, has its base. In every city we've got the same outcome. Young men recognize this well-known macho man type of being a man, but they also recognize this other type of man which cares, which isn't angry all the time, which helps around home, around kids, etc. So we said we need to help those men, those young men, to be what they want to be. The best way to solve issue on larger scale is to use this ecological model. I don't know if you heard about it. To explain it shortly, it deals with an individual, it deals with people who these individuals builds relationships to, it deals with community which is surrounding this individual, and then in the end also with the larger society where everything is happening in. So what we did is we looked around the world if there is someone already been working with young men specifically. Fortunately for us, there was this organization Promundo, they're our really honored partners, who started doing the similar work with young men in Brazilian favelas, so not really a nice neighborhood. What we did is we borrowed this fantastic methodology and adapted it to our contexts. There were some differences, but also majority of things were actually overlapping. This manual M, originally called manual H for hombre, men, can roughly be divided in 4 chapters. First, gender and relationships that we are building around it, then health with focus mostly on reproductive health, violence as the key chapter, and then also alcohol and other drugs. It has more than 40 activities dealing with these topics, but after the adaptation of the manual, we recognize that these individuals that we are going to be working with sooner or later has to come back to their societies, to their groups, and there they will again be under this pressure of proving this masculinity through negative forms, unhealthy forms, and etc. So a campaign going outside of workshop was needed badly. Who to ask for opinion better than actually these young men themselves? For more than half a year, young men from the region, which were already involved in this PLA, were gathering and discussing the needs of this campaign. Be a man phrase came up, which in average adults men, life is heard many times, often serving someone else for their selfish needs, but again resulting badly for the person who is, let's say, proving this manhood. Young men came with an idea to change the meaning of this phrase, to give it a positive sound and meaning. Campaign was designed in a way that it sends positive messages to the peers who aren't involved into the workshop, but also to create a space for these young men who were involved, where they can show and express their newly acquired attitudes, values, behavioral changes and stuff like that. So we also made something called Be a Man Club, so the spaces where they can gather and be a positive peer pressure to each other. When we had already everything prepared, we started with the implementation, but we also want to track the results we are achieving. So we chose two technical schools, one for control and one for the implementation. There were predominantly male students, so that was going well for us. And the implementation of the methodology of manual aim is actually based on gender transformative approach, which recognizes the gender differences, needs that are arising from them, and assess them by changing these gender rules. So we have done a baseline questionnaire with a lot of students in with all of the students in both schools, and started with the workshop implementation and campaign activities, and in the end did the end-line research, which was the same, so we can compare the data. Maybe you are asking yourself now, was it easy? No. Was it fulfilling? Yes. Why? The first research didn't give us such clear results because of the number of the participants that were involved in the workshop process, but their lives and their stories are telling a different story. Young men who are not afraid of being who they are, who are working on achieving gender equality, who are solving their... Oh my God, I have only 1 minute. Would you mind if I prolong it a bit? Yes? Okay. Okay, thank you, because I was a bit panicking, you know. So we saw these men who are willing to solve their problems using their brains and not their fists and hurtful tongues, and which was really inspiring to see their change and their happiness in their lives. So we again later repeated the researchers, where we included whole generations of students, and the results were a bit better, but it's hard to track how we are lowering the violence when in the same process we are actually educating them on violence, and then they are figuring out that there's a lot of types of violence, and then they are being using them daily without even knowing. So, question for you: what do you think? Is it enough what we did to overcome this problem of violence? Is it enough? No. Violence is an issue which affects the whole society. So to solve it, we need to get the whole society included, or at least start somewhere. This is where this multi-sector cooperation comes. Since this is actually a really good product, it doesn't need a commercial, but it spreads from out to year, and something similar happened to us. A lot of ministries actually which are involved or in some way connected to working with young men are giving us their support. We have support from a lot of government agencies, ombudspersons, offices, and even some famous persons. This whole process, to be completely honest, wasn't easy, but our youth work isn't easy. It's not all fun and games, and you are the ones who know it best. But we are here now, presenting something really successful, and we really hope that you will follow us on our steps. Through this process we created a lot of tools, and when I say we, I think on all of the person from local and regional level who are working on this process. And I would like to actually share you some of the tools so you can see the diversities and methods we use when doing our youth work. So, there's even something I will show you. BMN was turned into a brand. We have t-shirts, pens, hoodies and other promotional materials made, but in a cool way so that we actually are wearing them and using them. This BMN phrase got their how to say, endings, which are saying respect women, don't be violence, express your emotions, express your emotions, and the top one, change the rules. So, since being a bit provocative, this campaign had a success, raised a lot of questions, which gave us the place to actually raise awareness through that. We developed a lot of other materials which will be soon available to our partners for the adaptation for their contexts. We created 3 short movies tackling issues of peer violence, violence in relationship and discrimination actually. So, something on what we are really proud of is, which something my organization made, is this Young Men Initiative e-course. What we did is, all of our experience gathered through these years, we managed to put in an online course, which serves to actually educate youth workers also to how to use properly our methodology, and actually gives them the tools so they can use it in their work. At the moment it's in local language. We are working on, and if you want to, we can try to manage to adapt it to our languages and stuff, but at the moment it's on local. Then we gathered a group of adult men who are actually approving our work, more or less. Those are the celebrities. We had former Croatian president, a lot of musicians, I don't know. What, do you want to play or? Okay, I will play.
Dobro večer, poštovani gledatelji, dobrodošli u Zvonkov psihotest Budi muško. Večerašnji izazov je da li si nasilnik?
Pa pređemo na stvar. Sjediš u kafiću. Ulazi ti frajer i trkne te. Kavom ti je kenjana nova majica. Ti ćeš prebiti idiota. Od B prihvatiti, ispriti i obrisati fleku. Od C zaliti majmuna duplom kavom i facu mu premazati šlagom. Da vidimo kako se glasi naši gledani. Ako si glasao A ili C, ti si očiti nasilnik. Nemoj biti, nasilje nije tvoje. Odaberi B, budi muško. Do sljedećeg viđenja u Zvonkovom psihotestu. Bog. Dobro večer, poštovani gledatelji, dobrodošli u Zvonkov psihotest Budi muško. Večerašnji izazov je poštoješ li djevojke? Pa pređemo na stvar. Cura ti se dogovorila s frendicama za fitness. Ti ćeš po danu nazvati sve njene frendice da prevežeš da li govori istinu. Gdje? Pa na fitnessu. Mama ti je na fitnessu. B. Doma smjereno gledati kako je vjeraš svoje djevojci. Od C. Čim dođe doma, podvrgnuti je detaljno ispitivanje. Di si bila? Na fitnessu. Lažiš. Vidimo kako su glasom nastavljeni. Ako si glasao A ili C, ne valja. Ne vjeruješ svoje curi i stvariš je pritisak. Promijeni se, odaberi B, budi muško. Do sljedećeg viđanja u Zvonkovom psihotestu. Bog. Dobro večer, poštovani gledatelji, dobrodošli u Zvonkov psihotest Budi muško. Večerašnji izazov je da li diskriminiraš? Priđemo na stvar.
U tvoj razred došao je novi klinac. Profa mu naređuje da sjedne do tebe. Ti ćeš pod A, objeći kroz prostor glavom bez obzira. Pod B, nakeljit mu tonu ljepeva na stolac. Pod C, poznat se svojim frendom. Da vidimo kako su glasali naši gledatelji. Ako si glasao A ili B, ti očito diskriminiraš. Nemoj diskriminirati, odaberi C, budi muško. Do sljedećeg viđenja u Zvonkovom psihotestu. Bok.
So the form of real man was actually really important to our Be a Man club members, because they needed the appreciation of older men to see that they are on their side, that they are not some weirdos, but they are really fighting for a good cause. And in the end, we also made it tools, manuals to help others how to create these public actions and to form these Be a Man clubs. For the very end, I would like to share with you our own contacts on which you can always get us or inform yourself further about our work. Of course, we have our Facebook page and YouTube channel, which we are inviting you to subscribe. But for the end, I would really like to talk to you, audience, personally, try to reach every single one of you. Why? Because we need your help. First, I will talk to women in this audience. Why? Because you women, in a way, can choose what kind of a man you want in your societies. Why? Because we men often do stuff to get your attention, and that's just the way it is. But I would also like to discover a secret to you. I know that the movies say differently, but when a guy is disrespecting you or not showing you respect, he really means that, and he's not secretly in love with you, he's just being a bad man. Now I would like to talk to men in this audience and encourage you to show your emotions when you feel them, sense them. Why? Because by doing that, then actually you are showing that you are a strong man, because you are not afraid of what does the society thinks. If you ever need a proof of are you a man, there's a simple trick. You look in your pants and you get the answer. But I would also like to encourage you to rather think of choosing what kind of man do you want to be. That would be all for today, and I would also like to invite you to come hold me, chat with me, ask about what was happening, because that's the point of this convention. I hope that you are not too mad for me, because I maybe even take 10 minutes more, so please, sorry.